if you're married or with a partner right now, did it meet your expectations of when you were younger or current expectations? Like, were you surprised when you got married, or were you surprised when you met someone of how things are?
Or are you with the right person? I mean, if
We're going there. Hi, my name is Razan Niazi, and welcome to another episode of Bidun Sukkar, where talks are unfiltered and without sugarcoating. So, I have a special guest today with me, my husband Ahmed. We met around 4 years ago. I always forget how many years, but we got married 2 years ago. Today we're shooting from Zanzibar, as you can see, and hence the outfit, the hair, everything. So if you hear sounds of nature, please ignore them. So I have you here today, Ahmed. Welcome. Because I want to talk to you about something I find interesting.
Yeah.
So growing up as an Arab or GCC or whatever woman, there are a lot of expectations, and it's almost always definite that women are gonna get married. And we spend a lot of time in school, so I'm talking about when I was 15, 16, discussing what our future husband would be like.
Yeah.
How are they gonna look like? What are we okay with? What are we not okay with? Which I think sparked a bit of feminism. Wedding night specifically came up a lot, and what to expect. There was just a lot of expectations and mystery around it. So I always wanted to know what men thought about it.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me. And I want to first introduce myself and tell the world that I'm also a mixed Saudi. I'm half Saudi and half Mauritanian. Mauritania is a country in North Africa, close to Morocco for people who don't know it. I always have to explain that.
It's okay.
Going back to your question, basically, as guys growing up, we don't really think of it the same way you guys think of it.
That's
I mean, I can relate to this because I also have a sister, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But we think of getting married, at least from my own perspective, that is just another milestone. So I never thought of basically the night I'm gonna get married, or basically the girl that I'm gonna marry, because all what I knew is that at some point I'm gonna go to my mom or I'm gonna go to my sister, and they're gonna basically find me someone.
That sounds easy. Very easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is exactly what we had in mind.
And what if one of you doesn't get married or didn't get married? How was that perceived?
I think there will always be that constant pressure of you have to get married.
Okay, as long as we have something in common.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's still not married, and he's still under that pressure from his family.
Yeah.
And he thinks that he doesn't want to get married now. But yeah, you will always be under that pressure.
إيش كانت توقعاتك من الزواج؟
اوكي. بصراحة توقعاتي كانت توقعات اتوقع اغلب المجتمع اللي انا عشت فيه، اللي هو a clear cut defined gender roles. انه انا في الاخير انا الشخص اللي حجيب انا اللي حشتغل، وانا اللي حصرف على البيت، وانتي زوجتي، انتي you will take care of the kids. حتطبخي. If we have a maid, you will handle the maid. Stuff like that. وانا اللي وفي الاخير كمان دائما حتكون since انه انا اللي بدفع على البيت. حتكون احس الكلمه راجعه لي، او انه انا قائد البيت. هذه هي التوقعات اللي كانت عندي من a typical marriage. وهو ده الشيء اللي كنت أعرفه، ما كنت أعرف أي شيء غيره. بس لا تنسي إنه أنا توقعاتي كانت جدا محدودة because I used to live in a bubble all my life، وما شفت أي شيء برا البابل هذه. Not to mention that by the way, I never knew how to speak to girls until I was 21. we don't even know women, so how can we have expectations, you know? Like we will have the expectations that we are told. That's it. ما حيكون عندي اختيار معين إلا الشكل مثلا.
Yeah.
That's it.
Which is a big مسخرة شوي صراحة. The expectations that men put on women and those things. But my thing is, I know that you've always wanted to get married, and that was something surprising, especially all the people I met is usually guys come into a marriage or come into a wedding or marriage regretting it or feeling like their life ended and the woman's life only started.
Yeah.
That's how we're taught. Like we cannot do anything before we get married. Like أمي مرتي حتى غير أنا لما تجوزت. I'll be honest about it. حتى خيي to an extent. Why did you want to get married then? If married سوق إلك بطريقة I don't know responsibilities وما في freedom وشيء أنت ندمان فايت فيه.
مزبوط. حقول لك أول شيء على experiences اللي I had with getting married. I had 2 experiences and I dodged the bullet in both experiences. التجربة الأولى كانت مع بنت موريتانية كان لي معاها قرابة من بعيد. شفتها بالغلط in a family gathering or something. We got together and everything. تعرفنا على بعض شوية وهذا الشيء كان شوية مسموح فيه سنس إنه نحن كنا أقرباء لبعض فكان الموضوع شوية مفتوح إنه نقدر نتكلم مع بعض. وصلنا لمرحلة إنه خلاص أنا أبغى أتقدم لها وأمي راحت لأمها وتقدمنا لها رسميا. قالوا لنا والله أنت بيقولوا لها أنت عربي أو what they mean is that you're too Saudi for them. And I had the same kind of experience from the opposite side where I actually proposed to a girl who's Saudi and mixed Saudi. But they basically rejected me because I had a small family, because I do have a small family, and my father passed away when I was 2 years old. So بالنسبة لهم أنا كنت مقطوع من شجرة. ما عندي roots في السعودية. ف it's the same reason. أنت ما أنت سعودي كفاية.
ما بنربح.
بس ليش كنت دائما أبغى أتزوج في ذاك الوقت؟ لأنه it felt like this is the normal progression. هذا هو المايلستون اللي المفروض أنا أسويه. بس that wasn't it. بس that's the only thing I knew. بس من بعد التجربتين هذه في ذاك الوقت كنت جالس في الجامعة وكنت جالس أكبر وكنت جالس I was being exposed to a lot of things وبدأت أسافر وأطلع من البلد. ولما الواحد يطلع من البلد يشوف الدنيا من منظور مختلف. يعني the funny thing لما كان عمري 21 سنة بديت أتكلم مع بنات opposite sex and I was like oh this is actually normal you know like حسيت إنه طب أنا كيف كنت عايش قبل كده إنه I never had that access to women or to have friends, women friends, which is يعني.
Do you believe in female friendships?
Yeah, I do.
Or opposite sex friendship?
Yeah, I do, and I have female friends. It's normal. بس أتوقع بحكم الضغوطات اللي نحن عشناها ونحن صغار growing up. يخلي موضوع العلاقة ما بين ال opposite sexes like يا إنها علاقة عمل يا إنها علاقة زواج. That's the only.
ما في in between. إنه إحنا كبرنا كمان إنه كتير حياة الرجال والمرأة بالسعودية كتير منفصلة.
مزبوط.
كتير منفصلة حتى يعني لحد اليوم إنه كلماتنا غير. مش لهجتنا كلماتنا غير. الجلوسري حقي is very different than the men. وفي أشياء I'll never hear.
هنتكلم كلام الشوارع يمكن.
نحن أعرف شوي. بس إنه I was surprised. You know, we are so segregated in that sense. I think my first experience لما رحت درست بلبنان بالجامعة. It was very weird for me to have mixed classroom
Yeah.
or professor who's male. هلا okay بما انه I'm half Lebanese, it was easier to be exposed to boys. كان my cousins or my friends from schools, it was a very normal, let's say, interaction. وأنا كنت الوحيدة يمكن في المدرسة أقدر I can say these things لأنه you can't.
Yeah.
And luckily I wasn't looked down upon. Otherwise I would have been بنت خالصة.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
إيه بس yeah, there is no in between. That's correct. And I think, and I hate the fact that we're still asking this question, do you believe in friendships with the opposite sex? I hate it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's still a conversation, I think, depending on which environment you're in. لأن no, you and I have mixed groups of friends, and I believe you can have platonic friendships.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Anyway, going back to expectations of marriage, obviously our marriage and wedding, everything, even from the way we met, has been very different, or non-traditional. I think that's a better word. Like we met in a festival when I was with my brother.
Yeah.
And then we had long distance for a while, and then we got married. Even our wedding was 49 people, to be exact. 49, kept it very small.
Yeah.
And then you moved to Dubai, where I live, and you're working remotely with your company in Saudi. So I know that's. How did you find that?
For me, and where I'm from, and the environment that I grew up in.
هو من جدة.
Yes. I think a lot of people will find it, and they are finding it very surprising that I made the move.
Hey, a lot of people expected as soon as we were getting married or we were engaged, and a lot of people, so you're moving to Saudi. I said, no, I'm not moving to Saudi. No.
Because I think a lot of people believe that women have to follow men in that sense.
I just couldn't. I couldn't. Like I built a career in Dubai. I've been in Dubai for 8 years. It was very hard for me. I have some family here as well. It's very hard for me to just uproot myself for a man. Nothing against you, but it's very hard for me to uproot myself for a man.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I worked hard to do all of this, and I wanted my Dubai lifestyle to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
Again, this is the point was not how much each one of us built in our respective cities. It was about what works better for both of us, and I think that's why we decided that I move.
Yeah. And then helped that you got a remote contract.
Exactly.
Because I also tried applying to Saudi.
Yeah.
I didn't. خلاص, I tried.
Yeah.
No one wanted me. So.
All of them want her. It was what's better for both of us. I mean, I came to Dubai a lot, and basically when we were dating in Dubai. I used to see you here in Dubai all the time, and I got exposed to Dubai life, and I saw everything in Dubai, and it worked for us, for both of us, and that's why I did that move. But in the end of the day, as I said, most people from basically from Saudi, or like from the people I know in my environment, would say that أنت مجنون. How would you do that? لأنه هذا الشيء للناس المتعارف عليه. في حالات كثيرة هذا الموضوع جالس يتغير، بس إنه في أغلب الأحيان لأنه قالت لي يعني حرفيا إنه كيف أنت تروح دبي؟ طب هي زوجتك، هي لازم تجيك. I did not like that because I believe that نحن اثنين زي بعض. ما فينا أحد أحسن من أحد، ما فينا أحد كلمته ماشي على أحد. It depends on basically الظروف اللي نحن فيها. فقرارنا كان بيست على هذه الظروف. بس المجتمع ما في كم يعني نسبة كبيرة من المجتمع they will never accept that. They will always think that Razan must move back to Saudi. So going back to that point is that we did what's best for both of us, and we did not really care إيش المجتمع ممكن يفكر. وأنا لو أرجع للبيئة اللي أنا كنت فيها في الأخير في ناس كثير هتطالع فيها إنك أنت بتسوي هذا الشيء غلط بالنسبة لهم. and I don't believe that's true. بس في الأخير كل واحد حيسوي الشيء اللي هو مرتاح معه. Expectation of getting married now versus what I had before is that هذيك كلها typical gender roles are gone.
Okay. Good.
كلها.
Good.
Actually, what I believe in now, what is expected from me is expected from you. You know, and basically ما في تفرق في ذا الموضوع. أقدر أعتمد عليك في كل شيء، تقدر تعتمدي علي في كل شيء. ما في حاجة إنه أنت دائما ترجعي لي لأنه أنا الشخص اللي عنده الفلوس وصاحب القرارات. No, we discuss things together and we make decisions together. And we trust each other to make decisions in specific things. إذا واحد فينا مو موجود مثلا. فهذا الشيء اللي أنا حبيته الآن وأحبه في الزواج، إنه أنا ما أحس إني شايل هم الشخص الثاني لأنه حاسه مثلي 100%. وهذا الشيء أنا أحتاجه في الزواج.
Do you think your friends have similar relationships or marriages? Like
أتوقع إنه بما إنه أصحابي أغلبهم في السعودية، فأتوقع إنه أغلبهم الزواج تبعهم كان من أقربائهم، وكان تقريبا زواج تقليدي أو مثلا حب من الطفولة وهم صغار كبروا and they were like خلاص إنه هذول الاثنين حيتزوجوا. بس علاقاتهم أتوقع إنها more typical. اللي هي زي ما وصفتها قبل شوية، اللي هو اللي حيشتغل، هي حتجلس في البيت، she's gonna take care of the kids. ما بعمم هذا الشيء، لكن أتوقع إنه هذا هو بالنسبة لأصحابي أنا هذه علاقاتهم. so basically بس هذه المواضيع مو معناتها إنه هم ما يبغوا علاقة مختلفة. most probably they wanna have that. بس أحس إنه عشان البريشر اللي هم عايشين فيه، عشان البابل اللي عايشين فيه، كأنهم استسلموا للواقع اللي هم فيه وخلاص اتزوج بالطريقة التقليدية، وهذا اللي موجود. بس إنه هنا تقع like the real problem because بعض أصحابي ممكن يكونوا they lead a completely different lifestyle لما ما يكونوا مع أزواجهم. بس هذا الشيء اللي أنا وإنتي مرتاحين فيه، يعني أنت عارفة بالضبط أنا إيش أسوي، وإجازاتنا نطلعها مع بعض and مو معناته إنه إجازاتنا كلها لازم نطلع مع بعض. I'm not saying that. بس إنه مو إنك عشانك ما أنت موجود أنا حروح أسوي حاجة مفاجئة، إنه I will go with the boys and we'll have an amazing مثلا music festival ولا حاجة، ولكن معاكي حتكون PG-13.
you know? Wife how is it, wife approved or wife selected destinations. We hear a lot about those things where guys travel with their wives, men travel with their wives, and they have a very different personality and interests versus when they travel with their guys. Internationally, boys trips or girls trips are very different, but the way ours are completely, it's a different person.
مزبوط.
And it's and I know that's something you told me from the beginning, that you want to experience everything with your wife.
Yes.
Back then we were dating. I think he was trying to seduce me.
But no. Worked.
But no, that's a good point. And you were telling me about that guy.
The guy who smokes shisha?
Yes, the guy who smokes shisha. Tell people.
It's just this. It's a very simple example, yet it's very. It really shows how this impacts the relationship so much. So my friend basically smokes shisha, and he never told his wife about it. So he's ashamed, as he cannot really tell her.
Has he tried?
No, because I guess I met him I think a year ago or something, and I told him, why don't you tell her? Why don't you just say, listen, I smoke shisha, end of story, that's
or
it.
Smoke it together. Or,
okay.
Yeah.
But I think شوية في المجتمع اللي أنا ربيت فيه، ولا حتى أصحابي اللي حواليا، راحت انه يشتري راحة باله اسهل عليه بكثير انه يقول لك خلاص انا حطلع مع اصحابي and we're gonna smoke shisha and I'm gonna put a lot of perfume just to cover the smell of the shisha.
It's very strong.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like have an extra shirt in
No.
in the car.
Wow,
I mean,
it's like cheating. But then, what do you think? Okay, question to the woman: would you be okay if you find out your husband is different than the man you married, or he does these things that necessarily your community or family or تقاليدكم ما ترضاها؟ لا، ما قاعد أقول أشياء كبيرة. Could be as small as this, or you travel the same way together. Would you accept if your husband were to tell you, "I do X, Y, Z"?
Yeah.
Because I think again, this is where it comes from. That's how I started the podcast right today. We as women, again, Arab or GCC or whatever, we grew up with so much expectation, and it's a success measure. At the end of the day, we don't go and ask to get married. We wait till we get married.
Yeah.
It's rare that it's a mutual decision. And it is success. It is, as we said, almost definite that we are going to get married, and we speak about it in definite terms, like my future husband should be this, ما أرضى يكون كذا, ما أرضى يكون كذا, or whatever. And there's a lot of expectation around it, and a lot of, again, as we said, mystery around it. So I think this is where it gets built up, and I think women maybe think in a very narrow or limited way, because this is what we're told is okay and not okay, acceptable and not acceptable. So then they go into a marriage having all these things. But I wonder if we remove couples from their environment or their circle, do they change? Do they accept more things? Are they more accepting of the other without the pressure of culture or pressure of family?
I think that's 100% true. I mean, if you take them out of the environment and the I think the pressure of the family, that this kind of really makes it bigger.
Yeah. Listen, I'm thankful both of our families are small. Then alhamdulillah, we don't have ودخلت عائلية, because I think we would have struggled with it.
It's nice to have a small family, but at the same time, it's not nice.
I know.
It's like,
I have a same thing.
Yeah.
But again, even it's the same as being mixed. You get loopholes and privileges and little freedoms that others don't. So at least look at it. We have to embrace it in that way. Like we get to, have different perspectives.
So going back to that point is, if you remove them from the environment and basically let them grow to see and to get exposed, I think they will have completely different, not completely, but they will start to develop these expectations that
or
are
change.
And just but some of them at the end of the day, if you're born and raised in a specific place in a specific environment, and there was a lot of pressure from the family, and you reach a certain age and then you traveled, that doesn't, or like you got out of that environment, that doesn't really mean that anything will change, because you might lead a completely different lifestyle for 5-6 years, and then you come back and you're
factory settings. You go back.
100%.
Again, it's up to the person. I think as long as someone who is really happy leading the life that they're leading, I think there's nothing. Again, if you're not hurting other people and all these things,
100%. 100%.
I think marriage or being with a partner is very crucial. It's very impactful of your mental health, your life, your happiness. I think those expectations should be discussed or managed, or have different expectations. Because I do wonder, like, whoever's listening, if you're married or with a partner right now, did it meet your expectations of when you were younger, or current expectations? Like, were you surprised when you got married, or were you surprised when you met someone of how things are?
Or are you with the right person? I mean, if
we're going there. Yeah, that's a big one as well.
When you know your expectations and you know what you want, are you with the right person? And I know if I ask a lot of people, they will tell me, well, these are not my expectations, but this is marriage, and
I don't like that.
for them, they're like they're completely separated, and like I have to be married and I have to continue being married to this person.
Why do we have to get married? Why do we have to do these things? This is it. Why? Like, why do we have to get married? It's because someone else did it before us. Why? And why ما في freedom without marriage as well?
Yeah.
Especially for women. حتى men. I think women and men have more freedom when they get married.
It's the same but
Same but different.
yeah, same but different levels of pressure and
Yeah.
different level of
Well, thank you, Ahmed. That's another podcast, another day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this resonates with you. I would love to hear your feedback. What are you in a marriage? Are you in a relationship? Do you want to be? How is it? Have your expectations changed?
roles.
Are you practicing gender roles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tune in. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.